Hi there and welcome back. In this video we are going to be looking at how attackers exploit Telnet on a Metasploitable server. And before we continue, I want to make a disclaimer like always. This video demo is for educational purposes only. It is meant to improve your hacking skills. It is meant to improve your hacking game. So use it for good, use it for the good of the internet only, and do not misuse it. With that said, let's get started. Welcome back. Now we are going to start the process, the exploitation process. You can notice here that my server is up and running, the server that we are going to be targeting, and the IP address of the server is 192.168.17128. What we need to do now is to find out if Telnet is running on this server and if that port is opened. So we're going to run nmap -s capital V -p for the port, and the port is 23. Then we give the target IP address like so, and you can see that port 23 is opened. The service is Telnet and the version is Telnet D. The next step is for us to head to the MSF console, launch the MSF console, and try to brute force this service. While the MSF console is about to launch, I'm going to show you on my home folder a list of usernames and passwords that I created for this demo. In real life, you want to get a password list, and there is a ton of password and usernames list on the internet, right? So let's cut password, sorry about that, password.txt, and you see I've just created a list of 5 passwords. You also have a list of users that I've created, users.txt, and this is what we are going to use for our brute forcing. Now that the MSF is up and running, we can search for Telnet _login, Telnet _login to narrow down our results. And you can see we have an auxiliary scanner Telnet login with an index number of 1. So use 1. Let's clear our screen to have some space, and let's see the options that are there. You can see there is a bunch of options that we need to fill. A lot of them are not required, and what basically we want to do is the R port is very important. The R host as well is very important since it's a brute force attack. The pass file, we are going to need it, and the user file, we are going to need it. Then stubborn success, we can set it just to save time, but if we have enough time to spare, we can just let the whole thing run till it finishes. So I'm going to start by setting the R host because it's very important. Sorry. Then we are going to also set the pass file, and it is password.txt. Then we set the user underscore file to users.txt. After that, we should leave, let's set stop on success to true. And the reason we're doing that is just to make sure our scan is a bit faster. So I'm going to set stop underscore success underscore, no, that's stop underscore on underscore success, and we're going to set it to true because it is set to false by default. And the reason for this is that when we find a match, a username and a password that match, the attack will stop. The attack will not continue. But if you are in a real life penetration testing scenario, you want to let it, you want to keep it going for a while just to make sure that you have you may be lucky and you may have a good number of usernames and passwords that will match. All right, so at this stage I always want to come back to show options just to make sure that I confirm that everything is good. Our pass file is okay, our remote host is okay, the remote port as well is okay, and the user file is well set. So I'm going to run this exploit and let's just wait for it. So what it is doing now is it is trying different combinations of usernames and passwords just to see which one will match. And once we get a match, then we can use it to try to telnet into that server. So it is testing user tor, user root, user password. Yeah, we got a match. We got a match, and that's why you have a green flag there. So we got a match, and the match is root and then password. So at this stage we are done from the MSF console. I'm going to head back and to a different terminal, and we want to telnet to 192.168.17128 on port 23. It asks for the password for the username. We got a username of root and the password was password, and you see we are logged in. Right, you can now do a lot of things. You can start creating files, touch pound.txt. You can do a lot of things at this point. So our goal was to get you to this stage. You can now do whatever you want at this stage. All right, so the other way of doing this is using Wireshark, sniffing traffic through Wireshark. And to do that, you will assume that there are people who are using Telnet on that network. There are people who are using Telnet on that network, and for us to do this, we can come to Wireshark and start a capture like so. When we start this capture, we're going now to assume that someone who is us is using Telnet in that network, or on that network rather. And if we telnet to that IP address 192.168.17128 on port 23, it asks for the login and for the password and the username, and we put root and then we put password as password, and we log in. This would be a different user who is using Telnet on that network, and we are just capturing the traffic. So if we head back to our Wireshark, and I'm going to make this big, stop capture, and let's just filter Telnet. So I'm going to search for Telnet, and what we have, this is Telnet. If we right click and we follow the TCP stream, what you're going to see here is that Telnet, by the way, is unencrypted, and that's why it is not popular. Right, it's not been popular. It stopped being popular. So you can see the password that we logged on with, and the username and the password that we logged on in clear text. So in this case, you are on a network and there are other people using the network, and then you're sniffing traffic with Wireshark and then following their streams to capture their usernames and their passwords. So those are the two ways that attackers can use to exploit Telnet. I hope you learned from this. Remember, use it only for the good of the internet. See you in the next one. Ciao.